Welcome back to day 13, automating social media captions. So this week, we've really been focused on content. So on day 11, we did the persona-based, we created different personas. We then created a blog post automation yesterday. And today, we're going to create automations for posting on social media. All right, today our goal is to optimize your social media content. So we basically want to optimize your flow. So when you have a new blog post, a new idea, you can then post it to X, to Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and we're going to build a Sidekick that you can ask for either one of those. But before we dig into that, I want to just talk a little bit about how you would use social media or how you'd use AI to generate different types of posts and the types of posts you can create on X and what I'd recommend at this point on all different social media. So for X and Twitter, I would use it to just kind of refine, quickly generate. It's pretty short to begin with. This is really good for creating tweet storms, promoting your blog or your business, helping to drive engagement with polls. These are things that can help you brainstorm and then you can post so that you can. Then you also have Instagram. So here you want to create more visually engaging narratives. See, these can be very long actually. And they show up in search results, which a lot of these captions are really being used to surface posts for search results, which can also give you exposure if you're trying to promote a business, a service, or a product. Which leads me to my next one, which is YouTube. So, outside of Google is the second largest search engine in the world next to Google, who owns YouTube. And really, especially with short form videos, they're really surfacing a lot of short form videos in content now or in those search results. So making sure that you don't skimp on those descriptions is really important because they can really help boost you to the top of regular Google search results. For Facebook, we're thinking about thoughtful posts that just foster community. It's a little bit of an older crowd. I consider myself in that boat, but they don't. These are usually event-based and also to Facebook groups, community-driven, things like that. And then, of course, you also have LinkedIn. If you have any sort of business, think about it in terms of your professional insights, your thought leadership, helping to craft posts that are engaging to your customer personas. And we're going to see that throughout this lesson today. Because the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do an exercise of generating platform-specific AI prompts for each of these platforms. And we're going to use Anthropic to generate these prompts that we'll then use a little bit later in the session. And what we're going to do is we're going to hook this up to the Airtable, the personas that we created on day 11. So that we can generate social media posts for each platform targeted towards each customer persona. So to do that, we're just going to jump in here. Things. So I'm going to go to Dashboard, Anthropic. And if you remember, we created an account for Anthropic and got an API key. But we also purchased a little bit of credits, and we can use those credits to use some of their developer tools that they have for prompt engineering. And one of those tools is this generate a prompt. They also have improved an existing prompts. We're going to show you how you can generate brand new, very specific prompts that can help you in these full automations. So we're going to use this to create prompts for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So to do that, really all I'm going to do is go over here and just click on. So go to console.anthropic.com/dashboard. And from there, you're going to want to log in if you haven't already. And if you haven't already, make sure you've added credits to your to your account. The minimum is $5. So if we go over here to the dashboard, there's this generate a prompt. I'm just going to say, hey, generate a Facebook. Let's start with Facebook post. And I'm just going to say for this customer persona, I'm going to say persona. So if you remember, if we put, let me just zoom in here. So we're generating a new one. So generate a Facebook post for this customer persona. If there is yes, generate a Facebook post for this customer persona. Let's just do that. So we're just going to post in our customer personas here. And what we're going to do is hit generate. You're tasked with generating, as you can see here, it made it a lot. It kind of gives you a starting base. So you're tasked with generating a Facebook post for a specific customer persona. Your goal is to create a post that resonates with this persona and encourages engagement on the platform. Follow these steps to complete the task. First, carefully read and analyze the customer persona provided. And then we're given these kind of curly braces with this persona in here. So one of the ways that Anthropic denotes their variables, so in Answer AI and in Flowise, it's just one curly braces. When you generate them in Anthropic, it has two. So you just have to remove that. But we have a variable called persona. Before crafting the post, consider the following aspects of the persona: demographics, interests, pain points, motivations, preferred communication style, values and benefits, etc. And then this is where you can craft your own, be more specific, how you want to, what is your Facebook strategy? Maybe it's not community building, maybe it's not event based, maybe it's a different strategy. This is where you can then guide it so that you can then also too analyze your most engaging social media posts, which we'll learn in a future lesson. And we're going to talk about in that one how you can then say, here are all my viral posts. What about these, from the imagery used to the text used, so that I can make this prompt even better. But since you're just getting started, just start posting and seeing what resonates with your audience. And we'll show you how this kind of can allow you to put your own brand voice in there, but we'll talk about how then you can use this to create very specific items that are based off of your own blogs, your own writing, your past posts, so that it has more of your voice baked in. Present your Facebook post within these tags after the post. Provide a brief explanation, 2 to 3 sentences of how your post targets the specific persona, enclosed in explanation tags. And this is just great practice, because you're not going to be posting any of these automatically. Highly do not recommend posting, just setting this up and just having to just post crap. It's not going to give you engagement. Not going to work. This is just to, as with all of these, get you on third base, generate that very first idea to help with generating those. It's really up to you to make it personal to you, your brand, your story, whatever you're trying to do from this. So I'm just going to copy this out. And what I'm going to do is then on part 2, we're going to build a custom flow in Answer AI and Flowise and connect these to each of we're going to create one flow for each of these prompts. And the reason being is that how you talk to your audience, how what content you're posting is very platform specific. You don't want to, and we'll go over this when we talk about platform content repurposing, how you don't want to just do the same thing, just copy paste between the platforms. Each platform has its own unique things that it's known for, the way that the people that use it engage with the platform. So it's really important when you're repurposing content, when you're creating flows like this, that you want to make sure that each are treated as its own strategy and not just my social media strategy, copy replace between the different platforms. That won't work. So we're going to create a different flow for each of these, and then I'll show you here later in the video how you can bring it all together in one agent or Sidekick to then generate these on the fly. So what do we do now? So we take this prompt, and I'm going to open up Answer AI. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in this LLM at the top. And this is one of the basic chains that you want to create. This is the easiest. It's great for just single tasks. Now, these examples have different chat models to just show different ways of using this. And for instance, this one, it takes in the name of a company. You can put in a product and it'll give you back a name of a company, right? So let's just delete this. Let's add in, we're going to use Anthropic, continue with Anthropic. So I just replaced the Azure, I chose the LLM prompt template or chat flow template. And so we're going to go here and choose the Anthropic key, and let's just do 3.5. Let's use haiku because it's fast, it's easy, and it's good for it. Right. So if I save this, and I'm just going to name this what we're going to call it, which is going to be the Facebook post generator. I'm going to save that. So now we have a Facebook post generator, and I'm going to basically go in here and I'm just going to replace this with our prompt that we got from Anthropic. And by doing that, I simply have this persona, and I save this. Now when I go in here, this is left over from the template. We just need to replace that and update our persona. Whatever way you call it in your template, you just have to call it, you have to name it the exact same thing as the first value. And then when you click into this, you'll be given what is the persona. In this case, we're not going to. We're actually going to, for the purposes of this first one, we're just going to say business exec. Right, we're just going to hard code this in here. We're going to hook this up to Airtable here in just a minute. But for this purposes, I just want to say business exec. All right. So what do we do now? We need to get in and we need to say create a post about traveling as a business executive and some tips and spell it right. All right, so we just hit enter here and we're going to create this prompt and see how this works. All right. It says here, I noticed that while a customer persona label of business exec has been provided, there are no additional details about demographics, interests, challenges, and without specific information about this business executive persona, I'll create a post based on common characteristics of business executives. I'll go ahead and stereotype a post based off of something that is there. So strategic leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about asking the right questions. Just finished an incredible leadership roundtable that reminded me true innovation happens when we collaborate and challenge our assumptions. Who else is committed to continuous growth and learning? So here, we put here, it's given some hashtags. Maybe this is a good post. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But this is where you could come in and make it your own and then start and post that into your Facebook. But what if you want to give it all of the other information? What if you want to give it information about the company? What are you actually posting about? What do you want to give it information about a blog post that you just recently wrote and that's what you're promoting? Well, let's do that next. So to do that, what we're going to do is move this label just not to... All right, what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the left, the nodes area, and we're going to add our document, this document loader. And for this, we're going to add our document store. So if you remember, we created a document store that has our business documents and our customer personas. So let's first give it information about the business. I go in here, I can just say Travel Smart AI business documents. Select it, make sure we choose text, so it will grab all of the text from those documents. And then we're going to drag this over to this format prompt values. Now, once we have connected this, we do have to do one last thing, or two things. First, we have to reference it. You work for a company. I was going to make it capitalized just so it's the same here. Really, it doesn't matter if you use capitalized or lowercase, but it does matter that you do the same between here and here. So I added it in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add company. And now when I click on here, I'm given three options. So you're always given the option of the question. This is what's entered into the chatbot or delivered via the API through the question variable, which we haven't got into yet, but it's just what the person puts in the chatbot or is passed in from another tool. And then you just choose document store here. And what this is going to do is it's going to essentially, it's like me just copying and pasting that information into here. And just to recap where this document store is and how it's created, I go over here to this Travel Smart AI Business Documents. We set up this in, and basically it goes in and it grabs this document that is in here. So that way, if I make any changes to it, it has the most up-to-date information. But as long as no changes are updated, it'll just go here so that I can reuse this and centralize all of my business information here. So as you can see, we have the business documents. We also have the customer personas, which we have all three of those, which will also hook up there. So if you didn't watch those days, go back to days 11 and 12. No, I think 11 and 12 where we talked about. All right. Now we're going to go into our Facebook post generator. And what I'm going to do is now connect the personas by doing the same thing, going in here, document store. So scroll down, document store over. This time we're going to choose the personas. And once again, we're going to choose text. And we now have that. So now, once again, we have to go into our template. And actually, we already have persona here. I'm just going to, instead of just hard coding business executive, I'm going to choose this document store. So now you see we have two document stores here. We have document store _0 and _1. It would be a lot more helpful if this was with the title. So we should put that in the roadmap. But we're going to choose 01. And how do I know that? So, well, first off, company is 0. We can see that here. That's one way to know. The other way is 2 on all of these nodes. And this is part of the Flowise, is that you can go in here and choose or click on the I on the node, and it will show you the ID of it. It'll also show you the version that you're using, which is really important for when you're running your own and rolling your own. All right, so now we've given it access to the company and the persona. Now let's add that to, let's have it generate a post. I want to create a post about travel tips for the, all right, so this is interesting. And I said, create a blog post or post about travel tips for the business exec. And I said, I'll create a Facebook post targeting the family traveler persona for Travel Smart AI. We need to probably update our prompting a little bit more. So, family adventures made easy. Imagine travel planning that brings your whole family together without the stress. Travel AI creates personalized itineraries that keep everyone happy, from toddler-friendly activities to teen-approved experiences. But it did not. I asked you to, this is the important piece about as well, the difference between an LLM and a chat box. So I asked you to generate a post targeted towards the exec. If this was a chat, it would know. But once again, it's targeting the family traveler. All right, so let's update our prompt. All right. So you're tasked with generating a Facebook post for a specific customer persona that the user will provide. Your goal is to create a post that resonates with this persona and encourages engagement on the platform. So we're passing it all the customer personas. I like passing it all of the personas just so that it can try to differentiate between the two. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to tell it to, hey, the user's going to tell you which one to do it, but I'm going to give you the other ones just so that there's not a lot of overlap, right? You want it to be very specific, because by telling the AI that you're going to be doing other posts to that, it'll try to not make it similar to something that might resonate with your other personas. So first, carefully read and analyze the customer personas that the company is targeting. I'm going to call this personas. If I change this to personas, I'm just going to do that here because I want to for just an OCD and just to keep it consistent. I do have to go here, which means I do have to delete this. I can't just edit it, unfortunately. Once again, this is part of Flowise. And you can go in here and edit and replace these keywords. So I'm going to change this back here, but it's pretty easy to come in here, just change it, and I'm not going to choose. It's 1, yes. All right, so we are now telling, hey, carefully analyze all of the customer personas that the company is targeting. Before crafting the post, consider the following aspects of the requested persona. Now that appeals to the requested persona. I'm going to add here another one to consider, which is consider how this post differentiates from the other personas to ensure uniqueness. All right. That's just so that we can say, hey, differentiate this. So present your Facebook post, brief explanation, the requested persona. Remember to be creative, authentic, ensuring that natural, not overly promotional. That's always good. And your goal is to create content that the persona would likely engage with and share. Now we're going to go here. We have this Facebook post generator. So now we're going to go in here and I'm going to say same thing. Create a post for the business exec persona that talks about travel tips. Wow. We have to see why this is not working. So in order to do that, what we can do is we can see, this is the message. So we can see past messages, but we're only seeing the one message. Why does it keep always wanting to do the family? Let me just make sure. I'll try something else out here. Let me just copy this over. All right. The executive travel booker, please. All right. So we're going to be, based on the request, I'll craft a post for the family traveler persona. All right. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to change this from haiku to sonnet. So haiku is not getting it. So this is also where experimenting with different models probably plays in chance. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this. I have not used haiku before. 3. Oh. All right. So here we have some different prompting. I'm ready to help you do it. Please specify which. All right. I'm just going to do this. This is how we're going to paste it anyway. So we're just going to say, hey, the persona is the executive travel booker and topic is travel tips. Now it keeps asking this. So your goal is to, oh, I know why. I know exactly why. The reason being is that every single time that I type something in, nothing is getting pushed in here because I have written this entire prompt that the one thing that I forgot to put in here was the user's input. Now create a post based on the user's input. We haven't had to do this in future ones because we've used conversation chains, but because these are LLM chains and they're meant to just do one thing at a time, we have to add this there too. So here I'm going to call it user inputs and I'm going to save this, update the format and the prompt values. So user input, edit this, and I'm going to say the question. This is the user's question from the chatbot. I even mentioned this earlier. So every time we just type something in there, it was like Great. What do you want me to do? So we do it live. All right. So now create a post for the business exec persona that talks about travel tips. I'm pretty confident it'll get it this time. All right. There we go. We're in business. We now have a post for our travel smart, work travel smarter executive travel hacks. So here's some posts. Here's some explanation for it. Great. We now have this item. So now what we want to do is we want to create these, but we want to create them for each of the platforms. And now that we have our basic Facebook post generator, creating the rest of these is going to be pretty easy because all we have to do is go up here and just click on the gear in Answer AI and say duplicate chat flow. This is going to give it, and we're just going to choose our credentials again. That's the only thing we really have to choose. And we're going to save this, and we're going to now create our Twitter post or X post generator. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this other prompt generator that I have. I'm going to try it out first. So basically I have this prompt generator, and I'm going to say change this prompt to be Twitter focused instead of Facebook focused, and just have it go through, and it's going to give me some suggested improvements. But now I can just take that basic template and go in here and copy out this Twitter version. And let's go now to our Twitter one, and we'll open up this template, and boom. We now have this. You're now generating a Twitter tweet for a specific customer persona that the user will request. We have the same one. Demographics. It has very specific things like aim for 280 characters less. Of course, you'll want to come in here and fit it for your basic needs, but this gives us the basic scaffolding for our future ones. So we're going to do that for that. Now we're going to do it for Instagram. So duplicate chat flow, save it. We're going to call this Instagram post generator. Now, all I have to do is go back into Answer AI and say, now create one for Instagram. All right, we're going to create a new one. We're going to actually do that again. All right, go into Persona Sidekick, create a new prompt template based on this one, but instead of Facebook, or sorry, Instagram, Twitter, it's for Instagram. And now it's creating this for Instagram. Copy, change a little bit of this formatting here just so it's easier to read. Personas got messed up too, or this. Here we are. Zoom out a little bit. So, all right, you're tasked with creating an Instagram post. We're gonna save this. All right, now I'm gonna duplicate this chat flow, and this time I'm going to update my. All right, this is gonna be our YouTube post generator, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go over to Answer AI. All right. And we just say make it for YouTube descriptions. Great, we have it for that. And this prompt, I'll go through these real quick. And we've done Facebook, Instagram, now LinkedIn. All right, duplicate, now LinkedIn. Here we're creating just the very first start of ours. We'll go over how to optimize these later in this course, but for right now, we're just giving the basic scaffolding in here for our stuff. All right, excellent. So now that we have this army of social media posters, so if I go in here and I see, so we have our Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook post generator, we have our Twitter, our X, and we have our YouTube post generator. And each of these I can go in and ask for, give me for a video about traveling with the family to Mexico, right? Don't even have to spell traveling based off the family law, but let's kind of say, hey, in this video, and this could be great for trying to do this, but one of the things that we didn't put in here, but it's funny, it's actually just probably check to see if this is actually available, but it's putting in these links. And this is really important because what you can do is you can start to especially with things like YouTube descriptions and these other logs, those links that you always have to put at the bottom for your affiliate links, for your anything else that you might be promoting at the time. It's just so you can have these. So just kind of hallucinating at travelsmartai.com. I'm curious if that's not anymore. Checking to see. Looks like you can purchase it. I'm sure someone's sitting on that. So it's parked. So I don't plan on buying it for this. We'll figure something else out when we get to that point. But as you can see here, it is now generating these different items for me. So then lastly, what we want to do is now we want to create a Sidekick that can bring it all together so that it doesn't matter if you're going to be posting a YouTube video or a tweet or something like that. You can then request it from your trusty Sidekick and get all the information about, what's this about, so that you can then generate really compelling posts. So let's do that next. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the Sidekick Studio, and I'm going to search in the Answer AI supported area for Sidekick Starter Chat Flow. So this is the one that we've been using for all of our Sidekicks. I just search for it in the studio and then say use as a new flow. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and choose our credentials, and I'm going to choose actually 4.0 mini, not 4.0 as the default one. And we're going to choose today's date and time so it knows the current date and time. All right, so now we're going to go and we're going to call this the social media sidekick. This is my social media sidekick where I'm going to build off of it and its instructions. And I'm going to use this to query and basically use this to generate any of my new social feeds based off those prompts. But the nice thing about it is that what we're going to do is we're going to show you how you can now use other flows inside of Answer AI and in Flowise as tools. Helpful for, in this case, where we have 5 different distinct use cases, but you don't want to have to go between them all. You just want to talk to your social media sidekick, and then it decides, oh, hey, yeah, here's the social media post. Oh, here's this. And then it knows, go get it from the LinkedIn flow or the Facebook flow, and then it gives it back. You can also start to do things like with making them better, just doing a little bit of recursiveness by making them better, helping them evaluate each other, but we'll get into that later. So, all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the default and we're going to, instead of generate a new prompt, we're going to say improve from existing. So the user message, you are a basic tool assistant with this. And so this is where it's a little bit different based off of what we're doing here. So I'm going to put all of these in here. Let's see what it does, actually. I'm going to have it go through here. I want to change this to use 5 tools. This is a social media agent that has access to tools to generate Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube descriptions. All right. It should always use a tool to get the appropriate post. The agent is responsible for getting the users, getting the persona and the topic the user wants to post about. All right. So it's saying it won't do it unless you have something in here. So I'm just going to say user input. Now I have this in the user prompt. I'm going to take that here. I'm just going to put it here. You are an AI agent, right? I'm just going to put this in here. All right, run improver. we're going to see how this works. I've used this a few times, but I wanted to show it to you because what this does is it goes through, and it's actually a way that this kind of reflective versioning works with something like O1 Preview, one of the newest models. So as this is going through here, it's going through, it's creating a new version of the prompt, it's enhancing it. As you can see, it's, you know, getting the different items, it's putting in these, it's actually generating our tools and the different descriptions. So what it did there was it generated a prompt, gave some feedback, generated some more feedback, rewrote the prompt, generated some more feedback, and then rewrote the prompt again. So now we have this cool prompt that just says, hey, you're an AI social media agent. Here's the user's input. We'll have to change that here in a minute. Here are your available tools. Follow these steps, and then guidelines for tool selection and usage, how to handle errors, and before generating the post description, wrap your analysis inside thinking tags, and it include these items. So we're just going to copy this out and we're going to put this into our instructions. So we're going to go back into Answer AI and we have our social media sidekick, and we're going to open up and expand this using a little. So we got to this and we just post that. So the only thing that we have to change here is we just have to remove this. We don't have to actually say here's the user's input for the tool agent. We did in the LLM because it's used mainly for usually by tools like N8N and things like that for single purpose, just to create a prompt library. All right, so we now have these instructions. Now we need to give it its tools. So how do we do that? Well, over on the left, we can click on the plus button over here and we can simply just go down to tools, add nodes, and we can say here we want to use a chat flow tool. So basically use as a tool to execute another chat flow. And if I go here and I drag this in here, and I don't have to hit credential because it's if I wanted to put credentials I could. But in here, I can go in and I can see all of, so here, I'm going to do my Twitter X and I'm going to call it the same thing as in my instructions here. Generate Twitter post. And I'm just going to copy the instructions out for each of these. All right. So now we have created our chat flow tool. We need to connect it over here to the tools. So we have our tool agent right here. We just connected this here. So now we have our Twitter post generator tool, which if we wanted to edit this, we could just go in there and edit. That's why you can keep your different prompts and your different tools separated. So now if I go in here and I choose this, and let's just zoom in, I want to create a post for the travel executive, a tweet for the travel executive for business tips. I'm going to say a tweet storm. Interesting. So it did not use the tool. Let's figure out why did it not use the tool. Analyzes who's the topic. If the person asks for clarification, always select the appropriate tool based off their always use the. So we're also going to put in here, we want to identify the platform the user wants to post on, the persona in here. Always use the selected tool for the platform to never generate your own post description. The reason, because if it just generates a basic one, it doesn't have all the information about Travel Smart AI and all that stuff. Now we could give that as a tool to be able to get that information, but in this case, we want to be able to control those prompts a little bit better. So here we're saying always use the selected tool, never generate your own post description, always use a tool. So once again, just reiterating that, and then present the generated post description returns from the tool to the user. All right, so guidelines for about this, make sure that it matches this. Always provide the persona, choose the tool. Only the tools, do not attempt to use or create tools that are not listed in the provided list. Always provide both calling a tool. Yep. Oh, following format. All right, any errors? for generating the description. All right, let's see if this works a little bit better. All right, so we've given it a little bit more prompting, a little bit more instructions to, hey, use your tools. Let's add that again. So create a tweet storm about travel tips for the family traveler. It didn't use its tool again. I know that because of this. So let's figure out why it's not using its tool. So we have generate Twitter post. It is here. Try that. And let's try that again. Use your Twitter tool. I'm just going to tell it specifically, hey, use the tool. Looks like it's doing it this time. There we go. All right, so this is what we got. So the input, we went tool, generate this. So basically it gave it a tweet storm. And there we go. So we have now one that generates the Twitter post when we want. So now let's add the rest. So we can go in here or we can just clone this chat flow tool. So I'm just going to clone it and I'm going to choose this time. I'm going to choose YouTube, YouTube description. I think, what is this name of this tool? Are they all called post? Yes. All right. So now that we have that, we can just copy this over, put the tool, duplicate. Now let's do LinkedIn. All right, we have LinkedIn. Now let's drag this over. And now we're going to do duplicate. Next up is Facebook. And the last one, so we did X, we did Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. All right, we got them all. Great. So now this is working. All right, so we have all, we connect it. Tools, LinkedIn, X, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. So we're going to connect it to here and all right. Next, now that we have this, now we have a tool that we can come in and we should be able to say, I want to create a post for the adventure traveler for Instagram. I'm going to tell it to use its tool again. Use the Instagram tool. I'm going to try to prompt this out of this, but I just want to make sure that it uses it so that we can see. All right, so it looks like it's using the Instagram tool to get the information and get for Travel Smart AI. Oh, interesting. Agent stopped due to max iterations. So that's an interesting error. So by default, does these, but I don't know why it only use one tool per chat. Try this again. All right. So we now have one. Oh, interesting. It called it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Interesting. Persona, adventure. So it passed it in correctly, but for whatever reason, it just tried to do it 8 times, even though I specifically told it not to. So let's figure out why it did that. So we have our tool agent. Let's just tell it a couple other times. Hey, only use this tool once. All right, let's try this again. This is the fun of working with non-deterministic probabilities. Really, it's not even doing it even when I tell it now. Oh, it's telling me to use it. Oh, I guess I didn't give it a description. I just said, hey, so actually it's working as expected. I just wasn't reading. I'm like, why is it not giving me the post? Because I didn't give it a, let's say a post about surfing in Baja. All right, here we go. I don't think that it actually used the tool though. You didn't use your tool. Interesting. So there's definitely some prompting that needs to happen here in this. It is not using the tools. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just go over to this prompt enhancer. Need the agent to always use a tool and to never generate a description by itself. Only the tools have access to the full personas and company information. This agent does not have access to that info. Now we could just give it, we could just give it this information, but I want to try to get it so that I just can, it doesn't have to make two tool calls. That's a mouthful. We gotta add our fake user input that'll allow us to make it better. So run the improver. So here we're gonna see if it will try to improve it. So here it's going through, creating a flow chart, creating a new draft. Now it's getting some more feedback. It's now revising that draft, or it's writing the final draft. And great. If you want to see some of this, and it's great for learning your own prompting, which in a way, you have to like step through it or pause it. I don't think you can get back to it. But kind of reading that feedback is great for just learning prompting. So as you can see here, we have a bunch of stuff probably we're going to have to take out. So let's just take this new version and we're going to update this and we're going to copy and paste. Going to remove the user's inputs. Hey. So what it did was it looks like it went through and gave it a little bit more instructions. We still have the tools. Once you have all the information, use the selected tool. You must always never generate a description independently. Always provide the user's requested persona and topic when calling a tool in this format. If a tool fails to provide the necessary information, great. Before generating the post description, wrap your analysis in tags. Great. Here it is. All right. Now we're going to do this. Create a post on Facebook about travel tips for the family. All right, so this is where I'm going to up the model smartness. So I've been using 4.0 mini and it's just not getting it. So I'm going to try 4.0 and see if it adheres to the prompt a little bit better. So let's go here and the tool calling. As you can see, sometimes you just need to use a little bit better of a model. So it went in through there, gave the right input, then it came in, it's like, hey, they're adventurous families. Are you ready to take on the world as a team? Whether it's in a weekend getaway or a long haul vacation, traveling with your family can be one of the most rewarding experiences. Here are some tried and true tips to make your journey smooth and enjoyable. Great. Now Instagram. All right, it did not use that. This is where your prompting really needs to, yep, there we go. Generate Instagram post. Now use the Twitter tool. Oh, there was an issue with the Twitter tool. Here we go. Generate. Looks like there was an issue with it. Try again. If it was just an issue. Oh, take a look at the Twitter tool. All right, we got that here. LinkedIn. We have generate Twitter post. Let's see what it's called in here. Same thing. Oh, wouldn't have made any difference. I don't know why this isn't working. Well, let's see if the Twitter post one is actually working when I ask it in here. So if I go back over and I go to Twitter and I ask it, tweet storm about family travel tips. So it is working. Let me see if there's now LinkedIn. Oh, I think I know why. But it does make me, okay, I think I know what's happening here. So I think I need to share this. I think I need to make it public. Let me do that with the Twitter one because we're not using our API keys there. I think if it doesn't have it, then yep, that looks to be what it was. Yep. So if you remember, we didn't have the tool, we only had the tool input. So actually the agent was hallucinating and saying, hey, here's your post. It was just generating a post. Now I can see, I noticed you haven't specified. Would you like me to target with the tweet? I'll create one for the young budget friendly traveler persona as they tend to be more active on Twitter. There it goes, blah, blah, blah. And now I can go. So with a little bit of prompting, making sure that you have your items either with authentication or in this case, we just needed to make them public. So I'm going to go and do that now, but now you have the ability. So today we've gone through, we created chat specific or platform specific prompts for you to generate social media posts. We've also built different chat flows to be able to use them in our future automations, whether that be in N8N, Answer AI, Flowise, and then also we designed a Sidekick that uses our personas, which are stored in Airtable, to now generate a bunch of different posts that are really targeted towards those users, and having an agent that you can, and a Sidekick that you can just call on for any different type of post. A little bit more prompting, getting it to follow instructions a little bit better, which we'll go over in the later parts of this course. You'll see that how to make them a little bit smarter. So tomorrow we're going to be discussing image generation. So now that we have the text generated for a blog and for our social media posts, how can we generate images using a tool called Leonardo? And also Canva, which is a very popular tool. So I'll go through my process for generating social media posts, YouTube thumbnails, and blog posts as well, for generating new content, photorealistic images, and what some of the best practices are around image generation. So with that, I thank everyone for your time today. And if you found this content valuable, please share it with your friends, your coworkers, anyone else that might be interested in automation. And until next time, thank you.